This is a focus leader.
Do your movies look like this? Do your soundtracks sound like this? Or like this? And so you need this.
A focus leader. First, set your lens so that these lines are sharp and clear on all parts of the screen. Now, set the volume control on your projector. The sound level should be adjusted until my voice can be clearly understood in all sections of the room. You are now ready to participate in another Pan-American travel adventure.
It's so easy now. Just wait till they open the door, step out and look to see if you have friends to meet you. Not a thought for the hundreds or the thousands of miles that lie behind you, the great mountain ranges, the lakes or the oceans. For you are a member of that privileged group, the travelers of the mid-20th century, to whom the mud and the cold, the hunger and fatigue of earlier generations are at the most a memory. And to the younger travelers, a passage from the history books. And yet the magic of new places and new people, of unfamiliar sights and sounds, loses nothing for not having been earned by hardship and tedium. For the great cities of the world, below their outer layer of everyday living, cannot conceal the adventure that is history. And of all the cities in the world, there is only one, the very name of which is music, Vienna, by the waters of the Blue Danube. The city that gives Johann Strauss equal statuary honor with Mozart and with Beethoven cannot be unaware of elegance, even in its more commercial forms. And although the waltzes and the hussars have receded a little behind the Baroque facades of Vienna, the Viennese are as conscious of the values of urbane and sophisticated living as were ever their grandparents. It is by no means only the very young who take the art of the Viennese pastry cook seriously, because at his best, he is an artist who compels attention from all age groups, and whose influence has spread outward from Vienna to every city in the world, but seldom without losing something in the long journey from the banks of the Danube. So it is still to Vienna that the devotees of cream and pastry, braving the worst that calories and carbohydrates can do, make their way in respectful pilgrimage. As evening falls and the lights come on one by one, the ghosts of the imperial city begin to stir again. And it seems scarcely fanciful to think that all around us there are emperors and archdukes, great ladies and gay hussars, who, behind their marble monuments, hear the distant sound of gypsy violins calling from the wine gardens of Grinsing. The Tranzalpine Express pulls out of Vienna every day for the mountains of the West, and the traveler who has slipped too far into a sentimental dream of imperial Vienna is jerked back into the 20th century by this most modern and unsentimental of trains. For the motorist, too, the best roads lead westward, and every year tens of thousands of them head for the world-famous lakeside resort of St. Wolfgang. Sometimes one hears the expression, "This is pure musical comedy." Well, this is pure musical comedy, the only resort in the world catapulted into international fame by a musical comedy. That world success of pre-war days, the White Horse Inn. But the old inn in the exquisite lakeside village had what it takes to keep the visitors lured to it by the songs and the scenery of that other White Horse Inn. And now inn and village, lake and lakeside together, form the most famous and most visited of all the holiday spots of Upper Austria. Not even the lederhosen and the rustic crafts seem out of place alongside the White Horse Inn. For the magic of this place is that it doesn't have to dress up for the tourists. It is already, and always has been, dressed up for itself. Austria has a strange capacity to give its own personality to imported sports. And whether it be water skiing on the lakes of the Salzkammergut or golf in the wide valley of the Inn, the magic touch of Austria makes every sport and every sportsman at home. It is the mountains that do it. The ever-present glint of sun on snow and the loom of blue shadows up against the sky. For in Carinthia and in Tyrol, Vorarlberg and Styria, Salzkammergut and Salzburg, it is against the mountains that the works of man are seen. And of these works of man, none is greater than the city of Salzburg on its winding river, where the mountains sink into the rolling hills of Bavaria. Birthplace of Mozart, capital city of the Prince Archbishops, festival city of European music, Salzburg can reel off her honors like the titles of a ruling monarch. A monarch not perhaps from musical comedy, but a happy, rather worldly ruler from some unwritten opera of Mozart. For this is an ancient city, a beautiful and cultured city. But it is also very much the city of the holidaymaker. And everything that can be done for him is done, in no mean measure. Still within Salzburg province, but worlds away from the sophisticated creations of the prince archbishops, the church has adapted a very ancient custom to fit the Christian calendar. And every year, as June comes round, the little mountain village of Zederhaus bursts into flower with its unique and attractively named procession of the poles of glory. Westward again, the road leads through the cornfields towards the alpine territory of Tyrol, where the great mountains move in on either side of the road, and a castle above the highway can dominate a province. The castle of Ambras, near Innsbruck, is famous for its painted chimney pots as much as for any warlike record, because the original structure was totally destroyed during the Middle Ages and rebuilt during the 17th century as a great house rather than as a fortress. Painting the walls of their houses has long been a custom of the Tyrolers, and to it we owe not only some most attractive village scenes, but also a record of national, civic, religious, and sporting history which might otherwise have perished. The methods of hunting may have changed a little, but the lure of the chase survives. High in the Tyrolean foothills, the castle of Itter has been converted from a Spartan sanctuary from foreign invaders to a place of safety from the assaults of modern life. In short, a hotel, and a very comfortable and well-equipped hotel at that. It is a major tribute to the hospitality of the Mountain Hotel that this couple are still on speaking terms after that brutal assault by the swimming pool. But who could resist the combined forces of mountain air, of corn gold hair, and a chef from Vienna by way of Paris? Innsbruck. The bridge on the Inn is part market town and part royal capital, for the Empress Maria Theresa has left her name for this street, and the mark of her affection for the Baroque all over the Tyrolean capital. And 250 years before her, the Emperor Maximilian I erected that celebrated flight of fancy, the Golden Roof of Innsbruck. Even the Italian influences that streamed over the Brenner Pass in the Renaissance were softened and made homely by Tyrolean window boxes. And Maria Theresa's noble street is dwarfed by the great mountains at its end. In the steep valleys of Tyrol, where the mountains press almost into the very streets of the capital, the way to the countryside lies up. And in summer, the cable railways open the way to the wildflowers and the alpine meadows. Just as in winter, they carry visitor and townsman alike to the great snowfields of Tyrol. Westward for the last time, and Tyrol gives place to the Vorarlberg, the last province of Austria, hemmed in by Germany, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein, where the seasons go their way as they have always gone, and where the apples of autumn mean that the cattle are down from the high pastures, and that it's time to cut wood for the winter. This is a peaceful land, remote from the capital city at the other end of the country, and untroubled by the friendly frontiers just over the hill. But even here, the new roads are coming, and the automobile and the holidaymaker with them. Traveling the length of this lovely land of Austria, through the great cities of her history and under and around the mountains, it is hard to believe that there can be wonders still unseen. Yet every year, as the first snows of winter start to glitter in the mountain sun, Austria proves again that for all the beauty of her summers, there is a new and marvelous Austria that those who have seen only her green meadows and wildflowers can hardly imagine, a glitter with frost and aflame with white snowfields under a sky of azure blue.